My name is Robbert McLean. I publish ThePrime.cz, which is a real estate website covering the Czech and Slovak real estate markets. This video is one in a series of interviews that are being conducted in conjunction with the MBA in Real Estate program that is held through the Faculty of Finance and Accounting at the Prague School of Economics and Business. I'm talking today with Bert Hesseling, whose official title at CTP, which is a major industrial and logistics real estate developer, is head of research. That makes his job sound a bit academic or just research-based, but his activities are a good deal more far-flung. We'll get around to that, but first, let's start. Bert, I'd like to ask you, what brought you to Prague and what's kept you here?
What brought me to Prague is one woman, my wife.
Okay.
And what's keeping me in Prague are probably three women, my wife and my two daughters.
Fantastic. Now, in addition to your career with CTP, you're a lecturer at the MBA in Real Estate program in Prague. What brought you to that, and what do you get out of it? Do you find it satisfying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Jaroslav Kaiser basically asked me if I would want to take part in a program, teach in the program. Mm-hmm. So that's what got me to the program. I was honored that he asked me, so that's first of all. And secondly, I really see it as an opportunity to, in a way, give back to society. So to share my experience, my insights from real estate with young real estate professionals, mm-hmm. Because these are the people that are going to have the biggest impact probably on the built-up environment in the Czech Republic, in Europe. So yeah, I'm very honored to share my experience with them and to have an impact on in a way on how they will work and on the future of the built-up environment in this country.
Okay. Now, in your lecture, you concentrate primarily on innovation. Now, that's a topic that I think for years hasn't really been, it's not been at the forefront for developers. I think in general, a bit of a cliche is that developers focus primarily on location and return on investment, let's say. What role is innovation now playing in real estate? Is it actually changing the industry? Is it more than window dressing, I guess, is really the question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that innovation was always there, mm-hmm. because as a real estate, especially as a real estate developer, real estate development takes a long time. So you really have to plan many years in advance. So you have to think to the future. So you have to have a look at what's happening in society, what innovations are happening. So in a way, innovation was always an important component of a successful real estate developer. Mm-hmm. But I agree that the pace has stepped up. The importance of innovation has increased, and that's because of, I would say, three reasons. First of all, the changes that are happening in society are just are going much faster these days than before. Mm-hmm. Secondly, there's many improvements in technology. So many technological advances compared to many years ago. And the third reason why innovation is much more at the forefront of real estate is sustainability. So the society's awareness of the importance of sustainability, climate change, has increased a lot, and this is pushing the real estate industry to innovate.
Well, let's look at sustainability. What impact, or how is innovation impacting the way you as a developer, or way developers in general approach that issue? Talk a bit about the points that you make in the lecture.
Mm-hmm. So what we do in the lecture is it's actually not so much even about innovation. It's mm-hmm. about the things that are happening that will lead to innovation. And this innovation then will lead to adjustments that you have to make with regards to your real estate. So it's a bit abstract maybe, mm-hmm. but what we do is that we try to influence the way students are thinking, the way young real estate professionals are thinking, and to make them realize that they have to have a look at what is happening in society, what's happening with regards to technology, what's happening with regards to sustainability. Then based on these anticipated changes, think of how you can anticipate on that and basically putting a business around it. So we call it an innovation, because innovation has to be profitable. That's what we're teaching them as well.
Right.
When it's not something that you do just for fun. As a business person, it needs to make a return on investment as well. Very important that we teach them that as well, because many people forget that. And then thirdly, these innovations you then implement in your real estate project. So if I give an example, so I was talking about an increased awareness of the importance of sustainability. What you saw 15 years ago in Prague is that there was little attention to certifications, for example.
Right.
Then certifications came to the market. Now 15 years later, every building that is being developed is being certified. And so you see that this is developing, and what is happening now is that technology is enabling us to have even a look at life in use, energy performance and sustainability. So, and you can then move it back towards what's happening in society, is that increased awareness of sustainability. And then you see that consumers, for example, demand that they want to know what they buy, where it is being produced, what is the CO2 impact of all of that.
Right, that's important, because technology can't solve all of our problems. Obviously, society it's going to take more fundamental changes in the way all of us think, and the way we live, and what we demand of the products we buy and the companies we work for. You see that there being a role for real estate in helping push that kind of change. Then,
yes, we can push. And the most successful real estate developers and investors will be the ones that will be pushing it, because they will continue to be one step ahead of competition. But to give one example, if you see now that in the future consumers will want to know what the CO2 impact is of the car they are buying, then you can also predict that the producer of these cars, they will want to know exactly what the impact is, what the CO2 footprint is of every part of the supply chain. They will want to know that in the future. The building is a part of that. It's not the biggest part, but it's a part of that. And because it's not the biggest part, it's not on top of the agenda of all these producers. And so as a real estate developer, you can take the lead in that. So you can say, okay, we know that this is coming. For example, occupiers, producers of cars, let's say, they acknowledge this. And as a real estate developer, you can take the lead, take the initiative, open the conversation and say, let's work together in designing, for example, a carbon neutral building. Let's design a building that will be circular. Because we know that in the future you will need to report the CO2 impact of this part of the supply chain of that car, because otherwise you're not going to sell so many cars anymore to consumers.
As a developer, CTP is also, I think, changing its approach to the way it does developments. I mean, I think traditionally we think of logistics parks as fairly dry, just rows of sheds and places for parking, and they're very technical in nature. But I noticed that you guys are working on a new initiative called Clubhouse, which seems to focus community. Tell us a bit about that and how that fits into what we've been discussing.
Yeah, that's a very nice example, because it is not so much focused on technology, and everybody's talking about technology. It's also not so much focused on sustainability that everybody talks about. What we also try to teach students in the course is that this change is happening in society. The way that people work now and will work in the future is different compared to the past. It's also driven by changes in the workforce. Generation Y, we talk about a lot, wants to work differently than Generation Z. X, sorry. Right. So I'm Generation. So
it's hard to keep them straight sometimes.
Yeah, exactly, because we're already talking now about Generation Z in the course. So not Generation Y, but Generation Z. And you can even see differences between Z and Y. And what's interesting is that Generation Y is quite open to communicate through video calls, let's say. But Generation Z, so the younger people, they appreciate much more the personal contact. It's maybe also because of the stage in the life where they're at. So the Clubhouse actually facilitates this more personal approach. And the idea of the Clubhouse is that it provides spaces where people could come together informally and even formally. So the Clubhouse is a building that provides shared facilities to occupiers of the business park and also to the community around. So examples include a restaurant or a canteen. It includes our own office, so we're open to interact with our tenants. It includes the restaurant you can turn into a meeting place where you can organize events. There is a little grocery shop, so it's for convenience. There's a doctor's service there, and there's also an outdoor exercise area. And for example, we have such a clubhouse in Bor. We organize there a football tournament for tenants, but also for the region, so where local teams play football. So in a way, the clubhouse connects, and that's in line with what people are looking for these days, much more than in the past, that people want to be part of something. And if you look at real estate projects, the successful real estate projects, they incorporate this nowadays into their positioning in the market.
It's fascinating that something as dry sounding as a logistics park can be looked at in such a different way. I mean, that essentially adds a new dimension to the whole idea of what a very specific type of real estate can be. Maybe we could just wrap up. Your company has just gone public on the Amsterdam Stock Exchange. That must be very exciting as well as quite time consuming. But how has that changed your job and sort of your own horizons of what you can accomplish in your career?
Yeah, for me it's great because I have a fantastic story to tell to our tenants and to authorities. So in my work in research, what it means, research at CTP, is to be in the field. On a daily basis, I speak to our tenants, I speak to potential tenants, so I understand what's happening in their business and what impact it will have on their needs for space in the future, location, size, specifications. So for example, as an introduction to a potential tenant, when I say we're listed on the Amsterdam Stock Exchange, I don't need to say anything else anymore, so that's fine. And the same applies to when speaking to authorities, which I really enjoy a lot, because now that we're listed on the stock exchange, so one thing is it's easy to explain, to make an introduction. Second thing is that we truly have the power to invest right now. And if you talk about municipalities, for example, we have a unique and really great story to offer to municipalities, that we are an entrepreneurial developer that can help them to attract, retain jobs, and we are in it for the long term. So we are not developing and selling. No, we develop and we keep it in our ownership forever. And we have the power to invest because we're listed on the stock exchange. It's made my job actually much nicer. And eventually what motivates me in my work is that what we do really has an impact on the world, on the way we see the world. It has an impact on the built-up environment. And with the investment strength that we have, we can really make an impact, a positive impact. And that will influence the way businesses operate and the lives of people, basically. So I really enjoy that. That's great.
Exciting times. Congratulations.
Yes.
Well, thanks very much for your time, and
thank you.
Good luck with the career and with your lectures.
Thank you. Thanks.
Right.